I was a day trader and I lost everything. But the craziest part is that I was actually profitable for a long time. To understand why, how this ever happened, I first need to give you some backstory to show you how day trading took everything from me. Back when I had first graduated from school, I worked a job with Honda, the car company, for 6 years as a project manager. It was a decent job, paid outright, but like most people who work a full-time job, I was still stressed financially. I mean, have you seen the inflation and the taxes nowadays? And I knew that technically, no job is safe. Not that I was a bad worker or even close, but employees can get laid off at any time. And if that was my only source of income, I would have been screwed. If I were to ensure a future for myself and my family, I needed another source of income. At that time, I had a good amount of money saved up from all my years of working. So I wanted to use that money and make it work for me. And that's when I made a fateful decision that day. I chose the dangerous and hard road of day trading. I know what you're thinking. Here comes the classic GameStop GME story, blowing up my account. Actually, no, I wasn't a fan of taking big risks. So even before I got into day trading, I was hyper focused on minimizing risks and doing this the right way. So if you came for a story of me blowing up my account quickly, unfortunately, you're going to have to wait a bit because I actually started off really strong. Day trading is dangerous, but I approach it the right way. I start off trading very small to limit my losses and try to learn from other successful traders. At first, I was losing slightly for 4 to 8 months. I didn't make any money, but I also didn't lose too badly. I was just kind of treading water. And it wasn't until I was a year in when I really hit my stride and make some good trades that put me well into the green. By the way, into the green just means positive and making money in that account, in case you didn't know. And so I rode that momentum to $10 million net worth trading on a beach by age 29. Yeah, I wish. That wasn't actually what happened, but that's what those fake trading gurus like to tell you, right? The reality was actually much less amazing, and I made a couple $1,000s and was consistently profitable. But oh my god, if you were to only know the amount of time I put in, I probably would have made more money working minimum wage at McDonald's for the amount of hours I put in. For real. And it's not like I had infinite amount of time, you know? I was already working a full-time job, so in order to free up the time I needed for reading, learning, studying, research, and staring at the screen, I had to give up literally everything else that I loved doing. Everything. That means no time with friends, no time for exercise, no time for family, and no time to hang out with my girlfriend. And this was all during my 20s when most people are experiencing new things. I was stuck at work during the day and stuck in my room at all other times trying to make this work. Over and over again, I had to say no to things that I loved doing. I didn't see my friends for months until they practically forgot I existed. I barely saw my girlfriend at that time, and our relationship was strained to the extreme. I had chosen to spend all my time on day trading. My life was not balanced at all. Desperately, I wonder if this was just a phase, that I just needed to put in the work now, get through it, and I will get my time back to do the things I love. So I look at the life of my day trading coach that I had at the time to see if her life was any different. This was a woman who was the most successful trader I knew. For sure, she just makes one trade in 15 minutes, makes $1 million, and then goes on sit on the beach, right? I mean, that's what the TikTok trading gurus show. Wrong. She worked so hard. In fact, now that she was super successful, she worked even harder than I could ever imagine. And that's when I realized that day trading would always be like this. It would take up all my time in my 20s and in my future as well when I would have a family. It scared me, especially because I wanted to have kids someday. I didn't want to miss their entire childhood because I was in front of a computer screen the whole time. But this was looking like how it would play out. If I wanted to succeed, I would practically never have time for anything else. You see, I had severely underestimated the amount of work I need to put in to make this happen. And so a year into my journey day trading, sitting alone in my room, I suddenly realized that day trading had taken away all my time. This was the first big thing I lost, but not the only, because day trading was taking even bigger toll on me as a person. So when I first started learning to day trade, I trade on the New York Stock Exchange, which was open 9:30 a.m. New York time to 4 p.m. But this meant I had to trade while I was at work during the day. I quickly realized that was literally going to be impossible because I couldn't focus on two things at once. I couldn't trade stocks and convince my boss that Honda should bring back the NSX at the same time. It was literally impossible, not to mention that I had to make sure that my boss didn't see me trading during the office hours. My ALT tap finger speed needed to be on point, and it was too much. So I switched over to trading the Asian stock market, which were open during the middle of my night. You see where this is going, right? Yes, that's what I trade for the next 3 months, which meant that although I make a couple $1,000s, I probably lost a couple of years of my life from just lack of sleep alone. I worked from 8 to 6 at my day job, sat in rush hour traffic for an hour, got home, ate dinner, shower, and started trading. And for the next 7 hours, I will camp out in front of my screen into the wee hours of the morning, trading the Hong Kong and Taiwanese stock exchange until 4 a.m. Eastern time. Then I would get 2 hours or 3 hours of sleep and repeat the process all over, showing up to work like the Walking Dead. If you're wondering how I barely survived, honestly wonder the same thing. I was on a diet of Red Bull and coffee every night, fast food to save time during the day and catch up on sleep during the weekend, which also meant that even on the weekends, I had no time to do things. You can guess what happened to my health. I was completely destroyed both physically and mentally at that time. I was drowsy all the time, had more headaches, and I was getting sick more because my immune system was taking a hit. Moreover, mentally, I wasn't in the right state as well. I was alternating between being irritated at everyone and borderline depressed. It was just really bad. Hear it from me first. Whatever you do, don't try to trade the Asian markets if you're working a full-time job in North America. It's not worth it. But it wasn't just lack of sleep that was killing me. It was also the pressure. It wasn't like I was just chilling at night, clicking a few buttons and the screen and printing money. If you didn't already know, day trading is a battle between everyone participating in the market, and 90% of them are big banks, hedge funds, and professional traders with tons and tons of money to sway the market in their favor. Every day I was going to battle with these behemoth institutions and just to survive and make money. I had to be on top of my game at every moment in time. It was just constant stresses on top of me already being exhausted, which further deteriorated my health. After a year had passed, I was in terrible health. And just like that, in addition to taking away all my time, day trading had also stripped me off my health both physically and mentally. This was the second big thing that I lost on my journey day trading. But it was actually my last loss that hit me the hardest. You know how I briefly mentioned how I had a long-term girlfriend at that time? Yes, so before I started day trading, we were a pretty normal and happy couple. We had time to spend with her. We did the typical couples things like going on dates, exploring the city, and bonding over shared experience. However, very shortly after I started day trading, that all changed. At the beginning, I explained to her that we might have less time to spend together because of this trading thing. She was extremely supportive of my goals because she understood why I wanted to do it, to make more income so that we could have a better life together. So she appreciated that and urged me to pursue my new goal. However, as I slowly pushed everyone around me away because of my lack of time, and as my body and mind gradually deteriorated from the lack of sleep and pressure, she became more and more concerned for me. And for good reason. Although my trading was getting better, everything else in my life was getting worse. But it's not like she stopped supporting me all of a sudden. It's just that she could see the writing on the wall before me because I never looked up. I just had my head buried in the stock charts every walking moment, aside from working and commuting, neglecting myself, her, and everyone around me. I was very toxic to say the least. And finally, on one cold winter night, we hit a breaking point. She had driven over an hour in the blizzard to come see me because I used to live in this town on the outskirts of the city. For several days in the week, she came to spend the nights with me, bring some dinner and sleeping at my place while I traded on the desk beside the bed. And I always felt bad because we weren't actually sleeping together, but this was her way of somewhat spending time with me. It wasn't quality time, but it was better than nothing. The thing was, on this night, the markets were rough, and I had taken a few smaller losses earlier in the night. It's not like this never happened before, and I don't know why. It was probably a combination of all the stresses and sleep deprivation, but on this particular night, there were multiple times where I snapped angrily at the screen when I took a loss. And each time I did, I would wake her up by accident and she would be worried about me. To make the matters worse, she had a work trip the next day and she had to get up early, so I ended up making her pull an all-nighter with me. Literally everything that could go wrong that night was going very wrong. And after a long and frustrating trading session, by the time I had to go to bed, she was already waking up. Right before she left my place in the morning, I remember clearly. She looked at me in the eye, put her hands on my shoulder, and for the first time she said, "I feel like we are distant now." Then she walked out of the door. Up until then, this entire year of my day trading journey, I had never heard her say that to me ever. That was the first time. It was like a hard slap across the face. Not because I was offended, but because I realized that it was true. All of it was true, and had become so distant from not only her, but also to all of my friends and even my family. They could hardly recognize me. I could hardly recognize myself. Now there's this stats that say 95% of the day traders lose money. I wasn't in that 95%. I was in the rare 5% that actually make money. But in that moment, in that dark room alone at 5 a.m., 3 cans of Red Bull deep, having just stared at the screen for 7 hours in a row with my girlfriend driving further and further away from me, I honestly wish I was in that 95%. Because then I would have already quit. Even though I was now much better at trading and making money, this just wasn't worth it. Day trading was taking everything from me, all my time that I could never get back, my health and the things that matters most to me, my relationship with people I love. So I look at my day trading account for one last time, still well in the green, and quit. And that was the best decision of my life. Quitting day trading, more like night trading for me, took a massive weight off my shoulder, and I rekindled my relationship with my loved ones, regained my physical and mental health, and had time to do things that I love. But now I was back at square one. I still had my full-time job, but I still needed an alternative way of making money. Now I had even more idle money sitting around from my day trading profits and even more savings. But this time I had to make sure that whatever I chose didn't destroy me along the way, because it just wasn't worth it. So one night, a few friends and I were chatting about different ways to make money, some random ideas. But pretty funny ideas were floated around. Start an insurance company and open a casino were 2 of them. We all laughed, since come on, insurance company? Casino? No way we can do that. But actually, that had triggered something in me. No, I didn't suddenly join a mafia and open an underground casino, but it made me think about how both insurance companies and casinos could consistently make money and come out net positive. Even though they were just playing a game of odds, people were playing them because they were scared of either losing lots of money in freak situation in the case of insurance, or because they wanted to gamble and win big in the case of the casino. But either way, the insurance companies and casinos usually came up on top. We were just joking around, but actually we had realized something that changed the way I thought completely. And this would drive me to go from stressful day trading to discovering an easy and passive way to make money consistently. You see, after a year of trading, I had all these analytical skills related to the stock market, but it was the constant buying and selling of stocks that my lifestyle couldn't handle. But what if I could use these skills and become like the casino, like the insurance company, and generate consistent income from markets without taking on unnecessarily risk or spending much time from my day? I spoke out loud, of course, and my friend who was sitting across the table from me, who worked for a big bank, heard me out and said, "You know what? That sounds an awful lot like selling put options. My bank buy put option for insurance in case of rare black swan events, and retail traders buy put options to try to gamble and win big." Bang! That was it. Selling put option was the answer. And that's what I've been doing ever since, generating year-over-year return of 26%. And it's been going on so well that I was able to quit my job and make this my full-time job. And now I'll spend just 5 to 10 minutes per day monitoring my position. And honestly sounds like a dream come true. It will be too long for me to explain my exact processes on how I sell put option in this video. But I basically break it all down here in this other video on my channel that you can watch right now. And that is the story of how I lost everything day trading, but thankfully it also led me to find the career of my dreams.